Hello and welcome to the Nintendo Pipeline Podcast. I hope you're having a spectacular night, because I sure am. My name is Jared, known as One Up Muffin in the chat. With me today is...
James, who's here to kill chaos.
And special guests, Tender. Introduce yourself.
Hey yo, it's Tender here, and we're ready to talk about Uniracers.
Uniracers, not on NSO, but some other things might be later in the show. And another special guest, OG podcast member, Raccoon.
Hello, everyone. We're really zany now, huh? I didn't have any quips prepared, but...
I'm trying to get the energy up at the beginning, because like the energy of the host is kind of like the energy that other people like have to like match and live up to.
Yes, that's true. I energy match, so...
Also, I've been introducing myself a different way every single podcast. I think Muffin's trying to take my bit.
Am I? Oh,
I'm kidding.
I'm so
Oh
sorry.
Jesus.
Damn. Well.
Podcast over. A set, you bet.
Yeah. Whew. Let's start out with very quickly. What are y'all playing? What are y'all? Let's do a little fun game catch up. Let's start with the guests. Let's start with Raccoon going backwards.
I'm still wrapping my mouth around Kirby and the Forgotten Land. I'm almost done. I have the World 6 boss as my next stop. And I've been playing the game, getting all the Waddle Dees as I go, as the server knows very well.
Nice. I was doing that for the first world, and then I was like, I want to see the game.
Yeah. So that's why I'm still chipping away at it, but I'm almost done now, as far as I know.
Hell yeah. What about you, Tender?
Yeah, I mean, I have to somewhat agree here with Raccoon in the sense that I am also wrapping my mouth around Kirby. Actually, I'm not as far as you. I am. I think I'm in World 4. Is that the Ice World?
Yes.
Yeah. So I'm doing the get everything as I go along as well. Just not as much time to play it lately. I'm also still playing Elden Ring, as I'm trying to finish that, and I also am like 3 hours into Triangle Strategy.
So that's a nice mix.
Yeah, so I'm trying to like balance 3 games when I have time to play 0.
Yeah.
But
and are you playing Kirby mostly co-op or mostly single player?
Oh yeah, mostly co-op. So yeah, I've been playing with my 6-year-old daughter.
Aww.
And she's really loving it.
That's great.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to switch it up soon. She's just been like the Waddle Dee with the spear. I think she wants to be Kirby, so we're gonna have to mix it up soon. But yeah, she's been loving it. It's the perfect difficulty level for a 6-year-old to get introduced to the game. So
For now, it does pick up pretty hard eventually.
Yeah, you'll be having to do boss rush mode by the end. It'll be all good.
That's adorable, though. I'm glad she's enjoying it. So I've been playing Kirby. I finished the main game and the post game. I'm working toward 100%. But we'll talk about that later.
I literally forgot we didn't do a Kirby episode yet.
On a different episode, so I'm not going to get too deep into how I feel about that game, than it's very good, and you should probably play it.
It's a masterpiece.
Otherwise, I've been also chipping away at Elden Ring occasionally. Still playing Final Fantasy XIV because I have very, very poor life choices. Make very poor life choices. And I've also been playing Final Fantasy Origins, Stranger of Paradise, which I will be very short about, but surprised me. It's kind of like... it's let me down in one way, but like... surprised me in a positive way on the other end, because I expected it to be kind of a mediocre action game with like a batshit storyline based on the trailers. But in reality, it's like actually a really good action game, and there's not enough of that bullshit that you saw in the trailers. Where like Jack is like telling people to shut the fuck up and walking away with his iPod in his hand listening to like nu metal. Like, I wish there was actually more of that. But I would actually genuinely recommend people check that out if they like action RPGs. It's
The
very
demo seems
fun.
solid.
It's very, very fun.
I've been juggling 3 games. I need to focus on Kirby the most because for the podcast, I'm only on like World 3, maybe 3 or 4, probably 3.
Fuck World 3.
Yeah, correct. What? Did I say that weird?
No, I just no.
All right. And then Tunic, which I talked about last week a little bit, or a few weeks ago. I don't know when this podcast is going out, but still getting through that. I think I'm approaching the end. Great game. And then Elden Ring I've kind of put on hold. And I have also downloaded Final Fantasy 14, though I don't know how far I'll get into it. Haven't been able to do much recently. But it's cool. Anyways, that's not the real reason we're here.
No.
The real reason we're here is a very serious matter.
I don't
I'm
come
sure you've
here
seen
for
the video.
banter.
Yeah, the banter time is over. We cut it off. The real reason here is Onuma. Is that how you pronounce his name?
Onuma, yeah, I think that's right.
He got a haircut. That's why we're here.
Yes.
It's close enough. I know who you're talking about. So it's
Yeah,
close enough.
he got a haircut. I think it looks pretty good. I don't know what you guys think.
I would say
Are you
that
into the
Aonuma
haircut?
looks very fresh. He looks prim, proper, prepared.
Would you say he has drip? Is that a thing we're allowed to say?
No, he doesn't have drip. Haircut isn't drip.
Okay.
But he looks fly.
That's like clothing.
He looks
or-
fresh. Yes, he looks.
I just learned the phrase drip today, so
Oh, did you
I don't know
really?
how it's used a few days ago, but yeah.
Yeah, I learned a few days ago as well. I think with the with a thread somewhere, the raccoon thread maybe, but
Yeah, so no. Sorry. Jokes aside, they've delayed Breath of the Wild 2 to spring 2023, which is a year from now, at least.
Yes.
Also, the least shocking thing that could possibly happen, in my opinion.
Yeah,
I was
I-
pretty
I-
shocked.
I had called
I was
this early,
shocked.
and people doubted me, but
I shit my pants.
not going to gloat too hard, but
If I had to, just to get this out of the way immediately, I would not be surprised if that date ends up being fall 2023.
Whoa.
I thought you were going to say 2024.
I will not accept this. Yeah, there's no chance in my opinion. I think it is solidly now spring 2023.
Yeah, I think since
Okay.
this is the first time they've given it a date range. Like before, they just said like targeting
Yes.
2022. They never said it. They said targeting, and they missed the target.
If
That's
we
their
look to
saying.
precedent, Breath of the Wild 1 was delayed from holiday 2015 indefinitely at the time. And it was around this time, too. There was no date given. And then for 2016, they specified date. Or not a date, but, a window.
Yeah,
And,
and also other people didn't feel this way, but the first time we saw Breath of the Wild 1, it looked pretty early. It looked like early footage. It was like Link in some trees on the horse.
That looks
Yeah, it
like
looked like
regular
bullshit.
Breath of the Wild. Breath of the Wild
Yeah,
looks like that.
I thought Breath of the Wild 2, I thought the first footage they showed also looked pretty early, and other people were like, "No, that looks really like polished." I'm like, I don't know, man. But
Yeah,
anyways.
yeah. I mean, it looks pretty good. It just I guess it has the same map. So.
But they did say like a few more things. They were like they showed like 5 seconds of a new cinematic where he's like
Yeah.
holding like a mossy sword.
Yeah, that sword. Honestly, that's the thing I was the maddest about in this entire thing. Is
Why?
that they didn't show more new
yeah.
footage. Yeah, like
Yeah, they could have given us something.
it's like, dude, this is the fourth time you've shown this game. I accept your apology, but please God, show me something new. Let me know what's going. Give me a title of the game.
Yeah,
oh my God.
Let us theory craft. Show us the mechanics that you don't want to fully talk about.
So my hope is that at least, in June, when there's supposed to be an E3, whatever Nintendo does this year, they at least still have like the blowout and still show all that information and give the title and everything, that would make me happy. If I have to wait till fall for that, I'm gonna be very not happy.
As far as that picture goes, I think it's extremely funny that we have spent the last 5 years with people bitching constantly about weapon degradation, just for the only new piece of information to come out of this delayed trailer to be a picture of the Master Sword all messed up.
That's great.
Literally, the only new thing we found out yesterday was the Master Sword breaks.
Yeah.
Just like all the other weapons in the game.
That's funny.
Weapon degradation isn't just a mechanic now; it's a story canon. So here you go, guys.
Yeah. Proof positive it's going to be back, in my opinion.
Yeah, I don't think they'll remove that. It was pretty core.
Right.
It was part of their design philosophy of we want you to be constantly trying new weapons.
I feel like you have a pretty good chance of getting your blowout at E3.
That would be nice.
Because it'll be the last E3 before the game comes out if it does hit this window. If it's not at E3, then I'm going to go ahead and assume I'm right and that it'll be fall of next year.
And
granted,
also, we say E3, but E3 has been officially canceled. So this is
I was about to say that. Yeah, I was about to say granted E3's been canceled, but I'm sure Nintendo will do something.
Yeah.
I just can't go through another cycle where we talk about this game in an official capacity and they still call it the sequel to the Breath of the Wild. Like it at least needs a name.
The only reason I want it to have a name is so I can stop having to read everybody's terrible made up rumor names.
Oh man. Fan names are horrible.
The Wrath of the Sky.
That's
Sometimes
fine.
I'll be looking up Nintendo games and I'll accidentally stumble upon that
fake
Nintendo fandom site where it's all just fake games.
Oh my gosh, I love that site.
I don't dislike it, but sometimes my autocomplete is Pokemon Apocalypse. I'm like, that's not a real game. Please don't autocomplete with that.
Just a little bit of look behind the scenes. I've recommended we do an episode about that wiki.
Yeah, that would be fun.
And we absolutely should.
Oh, we should. Yeah.
I was so confused when I went there the first time because I was trying to remember all the different Pikmin when I was playing Pikmin Bloom, and I'm like, oh, what could they add to this? And I started going, and it took me immediately to that wiki site, and it's talking about all these Pikmin games. I'm like, what is that? That's not a real game, is it? I'm just going down the rabbit hole, and I was so confused.
Gives people the Mandela effect or something.
They really commit on that site too. They speak in very factual tone.
It's very official.
Very definitive.
With citations, fake citations. It's very funny. I like the level of commitment to the bit is what I respect.
Yes.
Very true.
Just a whole series on just different wiki sites. But anyways, so that's been delayed. So with that being delayed, how are we feeling about the rest of the year of Nintendo that are in this specifically or especially the holiday 2022 lineup?
They've got Pokemon. They'll be fine.
Yeah.
Scene. No, not seriously. But that's my basic opinion, though.
We could start there. I feel that we could start by talking about what they need or should do, and then move into what we expect.
What's been revealed so far? I think they have a pretty full year. I'm happy with the year ahead, even there's not any massive exciting game for me besides Switch Sports, which I know it's gonna be fine.
Do you believe in
I don't
Metroid
like it
Prime Remastered?
No.
You don't believe in
No,
Metroid
of course
Prime?
not.
None,
Not
none of
really.
you believe in Metroid Prime.
Even if it exists, I don't find it interesting.
Okay, see, that's a different question,
Yeah, that's a different question. So I don't know. This could be a Star Fox Grand Prix situation.
I think it's leak bait.
Yeah, it could be leak bait.
Yeah, I'm on the same page. It could be a Star Fox Grand Prix situation, or it could be a 3D All Stars situation, right? It's it could be the worst kept secret in the industry, or it could be something that's just total BS that somebody made up and everybody just jumped onto. So either way, I've been pretty sour on remakes and remasters and stuff lately, rather over new games. But at this point, I guess I would take it. I think in general though, they still need a Zelda game this year. So I'm pretty much banking on either Wind Waker, Twilight Princess, or both making the jump to Switch this year. I think.
Yeah, I would like that. Even though I haven't even finished Skyward Sword, which I need to get back to as well. I just keep being distracted. Just games upon games just keep coming out. They keep ripping me away from Zelda.
I just don't necessarily think they need anything else, really. I mean, I feel like this year is pretty stacked already. Because you got like Splatoon 3. We just had Arceus.
Yeah.
Triangle Strategy just came out. Kirby just came out. Switch Sports is next month. Mario Strikers is forthcoming.
That should be awesome.
Xenoblade 3 is out in September.
Yeah.
Pokemon, like I said, Violet and Scarlet?
Yes, Scarlet and Violet.
Yeah, that's right.
Scarlet and Violet are out in presumably November, I guess.
Yes, that's the holiday.
So-
Like, you don't need a second holiday game.
So it's like, what do you really need to slot in there? I think
I would
that-
like.
I
oh,
do
go on.
think that they're trying to make Zelda a yearly series. That does seem to be something that they've done since the Switch has been out, at least. I
Yeah,
think.
before then, I think even back to maybe like 2011 or something.
Are you serious? Has a Zelda game really come out every year since 2011?
Yes. Skyward Sword, not 2012, but it's 2013. 2013 was Link Between Worlds, Hyrule Warriors, Triforce Heroes.
That's right.
Yep.
2016 was what? Majora's Mask? Oh, 2012 was probably Ocarina of Time on 3DS.
I think
That sounds right.
2015 was Majora's Mask.
I thought
think
Ocarina
2016
of Time was
Twilight Princess.
2013.
No, that was like
No.
2011.
Oh,
that
wow.
was 3DS launch year.
Oh, okay.
So no, that was 2012 then, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so. Direct
Okay, so
Infrared.
Skyward Sword, Ocarina of Time, Link Between Worlds,
Hyrule Warriors.
Triforce,
right?
Hyrule Warriors
2015 was Triforce
was
Heroes.
Majora's Mask 3D.
Then we missed 2016.
That's Twilight Princess HD.
Yeah, okay.
And then then
Breath of the Wild.
What was
Hyrule Warriors again.
2018's?
Hyrule Warriors.
Hyrule Warriors.
DE. Yeah, DE.
And then
Which is a great
2019 was
pack.
Link's Awakening.
Yes. Yep.
What
Yeah.
was 2020's?
Skyward Sword.
Yeah.
No, that was 2021.
The Hyrule Warriors too.
Yes.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Age of Calamity. So yeah, I guess there's been a Zelda game every
Year.
since then.
That's amazing.
And,
You know, like, we
yeah,
don't
that's
think of it
whack
that
to
way.
think about. Yeah, but I mean, I guess Hyrule Warriors Definitive Edition is kind of cheating, but I'll allow it.
Well, I mean, it
it's
counts
another
as much
port.
as Twilight Princess
Exactly,
HD.
it's another port.
I disagree. Hyrule Warrior Definitive Edition is a port of a game that came out like 2 years prior. At least
No,
Twilight Princess
it was a
an
port
HD
that it did add
remaster.
some stuff, I think.
Oh no,
It
it just
added a
added
lot
all
of
the
stuff.
DLC
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
and
and the
it
3DS
made it, like,
stuff, right?
and the stuff that was in the 3DS version. Sure.
So it's I would say it's a new thing because like the 3DS
Well-
version was kind of had like less characters and stuff or less on screen.
I think that the
2019
distinction is completely meaningless to Nintendo. You know, they want something that's
Yeah,
out
sure.
on shelves that says Zelda on it. Doesn't matter
And
what
that's-
it is.
that's-
So training 2 this year.
Yeah.
And that's not even to mention they had Cadence of Hyrule somewhere in that,
Yeah.
like that shuffle.
2019. It's 2019.
So, yeah, I think the
doubled up.
2022 not having a Zelda game would be weird. I tend to agree with Tender that it's probably going to be a remaster.
Yeah.
I think it would probably either be Twilight Princess and Wind Waker or Ocarina and Majora, maybe.
Yeah. Unless Grezzo's next game is further than we thought, and maybe Grezzo has
Oracle?
another. Yeah, maybe they did Oracle. I don't know.
But the weird thing there is that Ocarina and Majora also just both came out on NSO, so.
But
I
that
would
didn't stop
probably-
them before.
Stop them before from what?
Like they released Mario 3D All Stars, and then they released Mario 64 on NSO.
But that's the other way.
Yeah, you're
They
right.
sold a product and then a subscription. They can't sell a subscription and then a product.
Mario is also kind of a weird thing, but I mean, trying to speculate based on Nintendo patterns is kind
Yeah.
of like, yeah,
Right.
it's like trying to drown yourself in a puddle. You know, it's impossible. They don't really follow any set thing.
the only pattern is there's no pattern.
Exactly.
I think the year is pretty set on. It's got all the sports you need. It's got all the RPGs you need. Kirby is almost a platformer, but I would love like some sort of like 2D platformer. I feel like we've been missing that for a long time.
I will say this: it does feel like just from my gut, right, that they will introduce another game for the holiday. I think. I don't know what it'll be. I don't know what the impact of it'll be, but it seems like traditionally Nintendo doesn't think of Pokemon as a holiday game. So if you look at like Let's Go, you look at Sword and Shield, like there were other games there that they still threw out into the mix. So whether it's, one of these really weird, rumors out there like Donkey Kong or Odyssey 2, I don't think it's going to be something that big, but maybe it'd be something even bigger, which is Rhythm Heaven.
I think.
Well, that's an interesting thought. Sorry, go ahead, Raccoon. I'll go first.
What we have to consider to provide a little bit of optimism to it is that the first half, or really so far the first quarter, is so packed. We haven't mentioned, because of our tastes, the Fire Emblem thing. Fire Emblem Warriors
Fire
thing.
Emblem 3 somethings.
We
That's
have
June though. 3 Hopes.
Yeah, we have
June.
2 Nintendo games in June. And like that carried a holiday in 2020. Obviously, that was a little bit different, but Switch Sports is coming in really, really hot. They're patching in leg strap functionality in summer, and then golf in fall. So, and partially, Switch Sports, excuse me. That's like for marketing reasons, something like that does better across spring and summer. But we're sort of seeing some indications that this year is going to be huge, because compared to other first halves, this first half is huge. You could easily hold things.
Kirby could have been a holiday game.
Kirby could have been a holiday game. Kirby could have been a lot of things.
Yeah.
But we're looking at Arceus, and some of this is like COVID, there's a lot of actuallys to be said, but there's a general sense of everything being pushed into the front. And I feel like there are maybe only a handful of things, but 1 or 2 things that aren't announced that will fill out the holiday to the extent that justifies the first half.
Well, we've already forgotten a couple things that have been like announced for tentative 22 releases, or 2022 release rather, without full dates. You have things like Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle 2.
Oh.
You have Bayonetta 3.
Yeah.
Like those things are both like not totally, but like a couple times now Nintendo's used the December window for like a game that has an audience, but maybe not the biggest audience. Like for 2017 it was Xenoblade. 2018 it was Smash Brothers, which is kind of the anomaly there. I'm still kind of weirded out.
Anybody will come. Well, it's because that game was crunched so hard,
Right. You could realistically probably release that game in any month,
exactly,
any day, and it just doesn't matter.
Yeah.
2021 last year they had
Big Brain
Academy. See, I can see Bayonetta 3 pretty comfortably slotting into that like December.
Yeah.
That early December slot. I could see Mario and Rabbids slotting into like an August or a October.
Yeah.
One of those 2 months that don't have a game yet.
I think like Pokemon, I don't think they would see Mario and Rabbids as fully their own, even though they would obviously advertise it a lot.
Sure.
I think they'd see Bayonetta though. Even though it's not, even though it's platinum, I think they would see Bayonetta. So I could see it being Bayonetta.
I'm not discounting anything for the rest of the year, but I actually kind of think that people that think there's going to be like more huge announcements for 2022 might be on a slight bit of copium. And that's not based on anything other than just knowledge of what we already know is coming out and how many months there are in a year to sell video games to people.
I do think we have like one or two, maybe like medium-sized things left.
Right, I'm just not expecting like Monkey PD.
I don't think
happen.
Odyssey 2 is this year.
Or
I'm expecting
Odyssey
2D
2.
Mario.
2D Mario would be
EPD
a
10.
great surprise.
2D Mario.
I have no indication of it, but I would love it.
I think the 2D Mario would be a amazing thing to release in November alongside Pokemon.
I think you release it with whenever the movie releases. You time that Mario release with it because those
Movies
like Mario sell so much.
That's such a good point too. Like, I don't know that they have anything announced to launch alongside the movie, and you would think for sure they would want something there.
Yeah.
Wait, is the Mario movie this year?
Yes,
Yeah,
this
yeah.
holiday.
So that's why I think we get some kind of Mario game this year.
Oh, okay. For some reason I was thinking that the Mario movie was next year.
Oh, we're
Just because we haven't
we're
seen
gonna get a
anything
trailer
from
at
it
some
yet.
point. Yeah.
Yeah,
fact that we
Mario
haven't
Day,
seen it-
March 10th. March 10th, we'll probably get it.
Yeah.
Yeah. The fact we haven't seen a trailer for Mario yet's insane. If that's coming out in December.
No, that's standard fare for these Illumination films. We'll get it around June or July.
Oh, okay. I was just thinking more along the lines of like regular movies.
Also,
I feel
like,
I would have seen a teaser by now. but
Holiday
sure.
is, for a film like that, it's like right before Christmas. In fact, that date might be out, December 18th, I want to say.
21st, it looks like. by
21st?
Wikipedia.
Yeah.
I'm just imagining the CGI for Mario being like imagining like a Sonic situation where like Mario looks so weird that they have to like re-edit the movie to make him look more normal.
Illumination
Delay
is
until next year.
a great fit
What?
visually. Like, if this looks like an Illumination movie, it's going to be fine.
No, I know, but that would just be funny.
Yeah.
If Mario walked out and he looked like Long Mario from Mario Maker 1,
Oh,
and
man.
everybody's just like, "What is this?" That'd be the most beautiful. Oh God, I wish that could happen to me. I wish I could live in the timeline where that would happen.
I am very excited for the Mario movie, not because like I'm excited for the movie, but I'm excited to do a podcast of the movie and to do a podcast of the first Mario movie.
We should do a riff
Yeah.
tracks of it.
Exactly. That's exactly what I was just thinking.
Oh, that would be so good. Oh no.
Yeah,
you know,
it's streaming,
but you know,
though.
you feel like that, that alongside the Mario movie, you could either have like, oh, it's the new 2D Mario series that they've been holding on to that's post new Super Mario Brothers, or it could just be it's a DLC pack for Super Mario Party Superstars, and it's one course.
Yeah, like here's a board based on the movie.
Right, it
Or
could be-
it's Super Mario Bros. The movie, the game.
I don't
Oh,
think we'll
God.
ever get Mario Party DLC. I don't think that's going to happen. Because of
I don't
the
know.
model.
Like we just got DLC for a game made in like 2012 or something.
It's 2014, but
2014. So I think
game?
anything is possible.
Mario Kart 8.
Mario Kart.
Oh, yeah, of
I
course,
Think,
of course.
I think literally anything is possible with Nintendo and DLC.
Yeah, no, that's fair, but I think they'd rather pump out more Mario parties.
That team is very good at pumping out games.
Oh, they are a machine.
I could imagine them even doing like a Switch party at some
who,
point.
who is that? NDQ?
yeah,
Yeah,
that's,
Andy Cube.
they did
Yeah,
Clubhouse as well.
Naughty Dog Cubed.
Oh,
Yeah.
they
release
get
games really
they
quickly.
get a total pass for everything if they did Clubhouse.
Yeah, I think the Raccoon actually has a pretty good point. They're probably more likely just to release another Mario Party.
Yeah.
When you consider that Super Mario Party is still selling, even though Superstar is out.
Exactly.
So that's actually kind of an interesting thought, though. Like, do you think that any other games could see DLC that we wouldn't expect to, like, fill in something this year? I don't know. I just keep going back to the year already feels pretty packed.
Yeah, I don't think there's
And, like-
a need to fill now that there's Mario Kart.
God,
And what-
imagine
There are
if
no
we just got
holes, ever.
Odyssey DLC like years later.
That would
I'd
be
so happy.
That's exactly what I was thinking, Muffin. It's just like
Dude.
all of a sudden, just like the Mario Kart stuff, they just drop Odyssey DLC out of nowhere.
I would cry.
Delfino Island.
Yeah, that was the funny. That was a great rumor. Like I wanted that to be true.
If they showed Mario Odyssey DLC, the sheer amount of just like thermonuclear meltdown on every forum that hosts Nintendo discussion about what this means for the release of a new 3D Mario anytime soon would be some of the juiciest discourse
I would have a
that has
pseudo
ever
intellectual
been posted.
meltdown over that because it indicates something bad.
Yeah, I
about
hope the
EPD.
next Mario doesn't take as long as Breath of the Wild 2 did.
I
I
mean,
guess
it
it
already
already
has.
is. It already has. Oh no!
Yeah, they're synced up, man. They're like
We
months
need
apart.
3D Mario next year. Then that would be the second greatest year in the last decade.
Unless we count Bowser's Fury, which would be fair.
I don't.
Yeah.
I don't want to count it.
Well, it's fantastic.
I don't
but
want to count
It's a
it.
good game, but I don't.
I'd
wanna count
rather
it.
have a 2D
It's not EPD.
Mario.
It doesn't count. It's not EPD.
We're 10 years now without a new 2D Mario.
We are very due for that. Yeah.
Oh man, we are.
Man.
Unless you
Yeah.
count Mario Maker, which like you can if you
Yeah.
want.
But again, like Bowser's Fury, I don't count it.
I
Not,
think
not
we
a
count
great
Mario.
game, but
Mario Maker is maybe a little more legitimate to count than Bowser's Fury, but don't
imagine if it's like 10 years later and they just do literally New Super Mario Brothers Switch.
No.
God.
I would be very upset if it's New Super Mario Bros.
It would be so sad, and then it would sell like 30 million copies
Yeah.
anyway.
But I mean,
I-
on that same note, on that same token, we're what 8 years from the last Donkey Kong game.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
God, Monkey PD is like, I know it's probably fake, but it is such an appealing rumor.
It's
that
a
I want it to be
terrible
real because
rumor.
I just love it.
It's a terrible rumor, man.
What? Why is it terrible? I love it.
We don't have the resources at EPD for Donkey Kong.
I'm a consumer. I don't care about resources. I just want my monkey.
But
I actually don't care about resources. I would rather EPD make Donkey Kong than just about anything else because I would like to see because the last time they
Yeah.
had a take on it, it was a beautiful disaster, like a train wreck of an idea that worked so well that it shouldn't have worked as well as it did, and it was called Donkey Kong Jungle Beat.
You were thinking of Jungle
And-
Beat, and I always think that their last Donkey Kong is 94, which I know
I was
isn't
I was
true.
I was gonna say I don't know what disaster means in this context because it was just,
Okay, when I say disaster, it's a disaster of an idea. It's one of those things where like you sit down and you're like, okay, what is the ideal Donkey Kong game? You and I would not get to platformer controlled by slapping plastic bongo drums in a million years, but somehow they got to it in like probably 6 months, and then they made it work, and they made it work elegantly, and like they made one of the most fun video games of all time by slapping bongo drums to make a monkey run in a direction. And that's beautiful to me. And if there's a team there at EPD that feels passionate about Donkey Kong, especially if they feel passionate about Donkey Kong Country in specific, and they want to like flex on Donkey Kong Country, the people that made Mario Galaxy, the people that made 3D World, the people that made Odyssey, are you fucking kidding me? Absolutely give them the ape.
So
Yeah.
if they made a new like Donkey Kong, I imagine it would be like 3D World. Like even though my ideal one is like more like Odyssey, I think if they did it, it would be a 3D World type game.
I would take a straight 2D side scroller,
Yeah,
and I
that'd be
know that
good too.
I know a lot of people probably don't want that, but like, I want to see what EPD's vision of that monkey is, worse than just about anything else.
is mainline Donkey Kong actually a greater bar of consistency than mainline 2D Mario?
what
There's-
comprises
I mean, what are you
mainline
counting?
Donkey Kong?
Yeah, what are you counting as mainline Donkey Kong?
I'm thinking basically like the arcade game 94, the Country series 64, the new Country series, and Jungle Beat.
All the arcade games?
In
Like
that situation,
Junior and
you'd
1
have
and
to
2
line
D?
up 64 with Sunshine. I guess those are like the most like equivalents.
Like
Yeah, because
64,
they suck.
like 60,
Yeah, of like the most least regarded like titles in their series.
like 64 seems to me, yeah, to be the biggest mar on the Donkey Kong license as far as like just game. But I don't know.
I think Mario is more consistent because I don't think people even love 3 that much, like Country 3.
I'm the only person that hates Donkey Kong Country 3.
No, I think that's a pretty common opinion that it's like definitely like not as highly regarded as the other ones.
I thought it was a common opinion until I joined this Discord.
Oh.
This
And had all
Discord doesn't
these
have
people-
common opinions. Are you kidding me?
I guess that's fair.
People say the most
I guess.
asinine things on the Discord.
He's right. Oh man,
I like all the country games, but I think Mario is definitely more consistent overall. Even though like Donkey Kong 94 is maybe like almost on par with like Mario 3. Like, those games
I
are so
think
good.
I think Donkey Kong Country 2 and Tropical Freeze are better than most 2D Mario games.
They're great games.
I think the only two 2D Mario games that stand on the same stand on the same heights as DKC2 and Tropical Freeze are 3 and World.
Yeah.
Personally.
Yeah, no, I agree with that.
And I just thought of another Donkey Kong game that is kind of terrible, which is Donkey Kong Jr. So,
what about Donkey Kong 2 and 3? The arcade, were those in the arcade? Surely.
Yeah. I like Donkey Kong 3. I didn't really play 2 very much.
DK Jr. Math.
Yeah, DK Jr. Math.
Let's
I'm
go.
Versus Mario teaches typing.
I'm trying to remember what Donkey Kong 2 even was. I played
fully
3 and 1 in Junior. I can't remember what 2 was.
Yeah. What is 2?
So where does March of the Minis fall into this? Is that a Mario game or a Donkey Kong game?
I think that's an offshoot at that point. Like DK94 is mainline, and then those are offshoots. And
it's funny when you Google Donkey Kong 2, the first hit is Country.
We still need to do the stream where you play DK94, James.
Yeah, I've never played 94.
Yeah,
So.
that'd be a great stream.
I was playing it for the first time, James. It's awesome. You're gonna love it.
Yeah.
It is so good.
Yeah, I'm excited.
We'll get you to play the Super Game Boy one because that one has good colors and sound.
It's very similar to Metal Gear Solid 2.
The MGS2 of Donkey Kong games.
Well, that I mean, I've never played MGS2, but I have an idea of what that means regardless, and that sounds very interesting. I can't lie.
What was this podcast about?
Oh, well,
2022.
we were talking about 2022, and Monkey PD is one of the more like popular rumors for a game.
Sure
that might
is
exist.
popular.
I would much rather have that than a remake of Metroid Prime, a game that still looks fantastic and plays really well too.
Do you guys feel that Monkey PD precludes 3D Mario?
No.
You don't think so? That's common sentiment that it is a separate project at Tokyo, which I find very interesting.
I feel like
3D Mario is always going to have a team on it.
Yeah, no, realistically.
I don't know. I feel like it could be one or the other.
See, that's why I don't believe in Monkey PD, is I don't think there's the resources at Tokyo to support both. And 3D Mario is always going to be the priority.
What if they were taking the opportunity to like reunite Mario and Donkey Kong?
Ooh,
cool.
Monkey PD is 3D Mario. See,
Mario vs. Donkey Kong 3D.
Well, they've actually already gone in this direction with Odyssey, right? By bringing Pauline back.
Well, that's what not just Pauline, but the whole damn city is.
Yeah,
like,
it's literally called like what?
New Donk City.
New Donk City,
and Donkey Kong is not there.
Well, it's not just called New Donk City. Everything in the city, like the street names, are like named after
Rare
animal
era,
buddies and stuff like that. Like there's like Espresso Way Expresso Way rather, and like Ramby Street and stuff like that.
I don't know what that would look like specifically, but I really like that idea.
I don't know what it would look like either, but it just occurred to me that like. Because I don't read a lot of threads on the forums, personally speaking, mostly because I like to keep the 2 brain cells I have left, nice and rough, so they can keep scratching together and working, doing what they need to do. But I wasn't actually privy to the idea that Monkey PD was like, in most people's minds, something that was being worked on instead of Mario.
Most people don't feel that way.
Now that you've said that, that makes some level of sense, because we know that the EPD teams are, I mean, they're sizable, but they're not like huge that I would expect them to be
over ambitious for the volume of developers that they have.
Sure, that's a really polite way to put it.
Well, who made Bowser's Fury? Was it
NST.
EPD or was it NST?
It was America.
So maybe
America made Bowser's Fury.
So consider the idea that the next Mario game is made by NST.
I was going to suggest that next.
And Donkey Kong is being made by EPD.
That would be wild if they let like an American company make a
and then Japan makes Donkey Kong.
That'd be great. I would love it.
Oh, okay. I like that idea. I actually think that would be pretty wild. It'd be even funnier if it were Retro doing it. And, like... But did you really... I don't know, man.
What if they, like, leaned into it? Mario Goes to America.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Road trip. Mario's road trip.
Man, that's a very funny thought.
Mario in Cleveland.
I like the idea of the reunification of Mario and Donkey Kong. I also just like the reunification of kind of that Nintendo staple in general. Like, I miss when, like, remember that Wario was a Mario character at first. Like, it's just so weird that, like, all of these are so disconnected now.
Yeah.
That Wario and Donkey Kong never appear in Mario games.
And
it's not just that they're disconnected, it's that they have their own weird characters and continuity.
Yeah. Which is great, but I would also love if they had some overlap.
Yeah, it'd be pretty rad. What's really weird about Wario is he's got two of them. Like, you have all the Captain Syrup shit from the Land games, and then you have all of his friends from WarioWare.
Yeah, and I love the WarioWare friends. Like, they're great characters.
Same.
Are the platformers INSYS? Anybody know?
I'm sorry?
Are the platformers INSYS? Intelligent Systems.
Which ones?
Wario Land. Is Wario Land?
Oh, I don't know who made Wario Land.
Is that Intelligent Systems?
I think
it's not Intelligent Systems.
The most recent one was Goodfeel, wasn't it?
Yeah, before that it was
Shake
one of the Japanese.
Goodfeel.
It was one of like the EPD teams, I think, or what was the
R&D?
Well, it was
probably.
It was
Yeah.
R&D.
R&D,
before.
yeah. Sorry.
Wario Land 4 was R&D 1. But Shake It was Goodfeel. Or,
I didn't like Shake It.
Or the Groove Dimension, I think is what it's called if you're... or the Shake Dimension is what it's called.
British.
If you're British, which I hope you're not.
Yeah, Wario Land 4 was R&D 1.
What a good game.
Yeah, I think all
Bring
the
back
Wario
Land.
I think all the Wario Land games before Shake It were internal Nintendo.
Let's
Yeah, I imagine they'd have to be. Like, who else was making Game Boy games back then for Nintendo except for HAL and Game Freak and Nintendo?
Let's make a new Wario. Let's do it.
INSYS, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, a new Wario Land game would be cool.
Yeah.
Oh, I would kill for it
So-
when that rumor was that what's it called was going to be making
Way
and then
Forward.
and then it was
Bakugan.
Bakugan.
Yeah, Bakugan.
That's so funny.
That's great.
But yeah, the I do like the idea of Monkey PD being like a platformer that reunites Donkey Kong, and Donkey Kong's going to be in the movie. Hold on.
That's
Yeah.
true.
Whoa.
No. Not just Donkey Kong. Cranky Kong is going to be in the movie.
Seth Rogen.
Which means that the extended Kong family is now 100% canon to the Mario universe.
Oh, that's
Which this is the first time they've acknowledged that, right?
Yeah, it is absolutely. Well, other than Odyssey's, other than New Donk City's stuff, but yes.
But they didn't. Did they acknowledge the extended family in New Donk City?
They did with street names.
Oh,
the street,
okay.
and there are things in New Donk City called like Diddy Mart and Dixie Street,
Oh,
Tini's Paroshkas.
They could be
Cranky
coincidences,
Avenue.
though.
Yeah, they're definitely coincidences. I don't know. I want to be very clear that I don't know anything, and I'm not like being coy at all. This is just literally this idea popped into my head, and I said it.
I want to be clear that we're all insiders and we know exactly what Nintendo is releasing. We just don't want to tell you.
Yeah, okay, sure. That's actually it. But I think it would be very cool if that were the case.
Mm-hmm.
And
I love that.
I didn't bring
be
that.
clear.
And the more I talk about it, and the more I think about it right now, it seems almost like possible.
Having two very different platforming feels to switch between.
Oh, it'd be so cool.
Oh my God, yeah. Oh, we're talking actually like.
And you could have teams like Team Mario and Team DK, like it's DK, Diddy, Dixie, and Cranky, and like Mario, Luigi, Toad, and Peach.
This sounds like Sonic Heroes, but with Mario.
Well, no, what it really, oh God, K. Rool and Bowser working together. Oh,
if you had Team DK and Team Mario, who in the world is going to be on Team Mario? That's all I have to say. Like, who's going to be on that team? Nobody.
Mario, Luigi, Toad, and Peach.
No. Like who's going to pick that team?
Oh, who's going to pick that team? Losers.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, God, the music would be amazing. Mario would have a good soundtrack for once. Muffin. Oh, I'm going to get fired from the podcast.
We are a Koji Kondo hating podcast.
No, I love Koji.
Hey,
I love
hey.
Koji Kondo.
Can't be saying that
does great
shit.
work. He does great work. He made the best song in Odyssey, so...
Which one is that?
Hey,
Wooded Kingdom.
Oh,
Steam
interesting.
Gardens.
Odyssey has great music.
Odyssey has okay music. Odyssey has a few standout tracks and a bunch of things that I have forgotten in the past 5 years, to be honest with you.
I have the
Like that
whole
Superstar
Odyssey
song?
soundtrack memorized, honestly. Like, I can go...
That's wild.
I like the one on the what is it, the one where you can jump off the side and go into the woods and stuff, but it's like the mechanical area.
That's
I like that.
That's
a good one.
Garden.
That's Steam Gardens.
Yeah.
That's the
Yeah.
song that Koji Kondo.
Oh, really? That's a great
composed.
song.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I also like New Donk City's theme,
Yep.
and I like the vocal song at the end of the game, Honeyloon Escape, and I like Honeyloon Caverns, the song that plays when you're like in the fiery pit in the moon when you're on your way up to the castle. Those are the good
Yeah.
songs from that game.
Jump Up Superstar.
I like Jump Up Superstar. Okay, Odyssey, yes, see.
It's a great song.
Odyssey, yes, see. That part ruins it for me in a lot of ways.
Oh no, that part's
Oh man.
So yeah, that's a dream that I just had, and I'm glad that you all share it with me now.
So, like, we gotta address the elephant in the room, though, right?
Yeah.
What, Sonic Frontiers?
Which is the biggest game on the release list that nobody's talking about, which is Fire Emblem Warriors: The Three Hopes.
Oh.
I have long voiced my opinion on that game and that type of game. And by type of game, I don't even mean Muso. I mean Muso sequel to popular game that people like.
Yeah.
I'll play it eventually.
I have mixed feelings because Hyrule Warriors Definitive Edition is that might be like a top 10 game for me of all time. And Age of Calamity is it's okay. It has a lot of really interesting ideas. It just doesn't have the crazy amount of expanded content. And I have a fear that this is going to be the same way compared to Fire Emblem Warriors 1.
Yeah.
So I have that fear, but at the same time, I'm going to probably play this for 100 hours regardless. So
I agree with Tender. I think Muso games work best when they are a mishmash of every bit of a series rather than focusing on one specific game. I found Hyrule Warriors Definitive Edition, from the little bit I played, a lot more exciting and fun than I did Age of Calamity.
yeah, I don't know if anybody played the Dragon Quest ones. They were really good. They were really cool.
A little bit. I played some of the demo. It was cool. I like the
See.
One Piece ones.
What's
Yeah.
funny is I liked Age of Calamity better than Definitive Edition.
Oh my god.
Mostly because it felt beatable, I guess.
Oh,
I look at Hyrule Definitive Edition, I look at those adventure maps, and they locked so many of the characters that I actually wanted to play as behind those adventure maps.
Look,
Yeah.
I think I've played Hyrule Warriors for more than 600 hours between Wii U, Switch, and 3DS because I bought all of them because I'm an idiot, and I still don't think I've beaten Definitive Edition yet.
Oh my
All the
gosh.
content, it's just so massive. I remember
Well, it's
one time I just took off a week from work just to relax, and I ended up just playing Hyrule Warriors the entire week, and
That's
I still
amazing.
and I still didn't even make a dent in the content.
Well, it's I want to play as Marin and Skull Kid. Those
Yeah.
are the characters I want to play as, and they're buried in hours of adventure map play, and it's just man.
Not that much.
In Age of Calamity, I can play as Sidon, and he has a fun like almost rhythm based attack pattern to him, and I could finish the game in like 30 hours. I don't know.
That was the best part about Age of Calamity was that like the movesets were so unique, and bringing like the future characters and the past characters, and they all had different movesets. It was really, really, really neat. I just wish, I don't know. I just wish there was a bigger content map for it. Like there was like the adventure maps and maybe more DLC characters than they did and things like that. But I'm sorry, I brought it in as a joke, and we ended up playing on Musos for 5 minutes.
It's fine.
You mentioned Rhythm Heaven. Just out of curiosity, like the thing that I could see them having to fill out some of the rest of the year.
Port.
No, not ports.
No,
not ports. Would
okay.
maybe be something like smaller, like
Pushmo,
Box Boy and Box Girl, or Pushmo.
I would love Pushmo to make a return.
Or Rhythm
I've been waiting
Heaven,
years.
or
So
even
here's
something like Clubhouse Games. Like, do you think something like that's possible?
I absolutely do, and here's my number one guaranteed guess. And you know what? I'm gonna put it in 2 windows. I know it's kind of a cop out, but either in December of this year or May of next year, we will get a new Nintendogs.
Interesting. Who do you think would make it?
Oh, internal. It's gonna be internal.
Internal. Interesting. I mean, I could see it.
I think it would need to come with the microphone for the USB spot, or for the for the headphone jack.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I could definitely see that happening.
At this point, with EPD 9 having done Tour for so long, and now working on porting Tour tracks to extend Mario Kart 8, I could absolutely see another mass market product coming from them, like Nintendo.
Do you think Tour ends after all the DLC is out? For
I
8?
bet you're right. I bet it does
Yes.
end. Yeah.
100%.
Because they ended Dragalia Lost, and we know Tour doesn't do amazing for them. Like, it makes money, but like it doesn't make anywhere near as much as like Fire Emblem.
They get money
The
from
only
Gartooth.
mobile game they have is Heroes, really.
I could see in 2025 looking back and seeing the only Nintendo mobile game that is still operating is Fire Emblem Heroes.
It's wild to think Iwata was right about that too, huh?
What did he say?
Not worth it. Not worth it to get into mobile.
Yeah. Oh, he knew.
Yeah, it wasn't worth it for them. It was so silly. They shouldn't have done it.
Pocket Camp's gone next year. Based off
I
these,
hope so. I really hope so.
Based off these emails they're sending out, where they're like deprecating content now and they're compressing passes and stuff like that. It's on its way out. I think
That's a great
I think that's
point.
the next one to go.
Is Animal Crossing going to be gone for like 5 years with no presence from Pocket Camp? And
No, we'll get like an Amiibo
Mainline.
Festival too or something.
Yeah, some sort of Animal Crossing spin-off.
Yeah,
Well,
that'd be fun to see a spin-off of that.
Well, when you say 5 years, do you mean 5 years from the release of New Horizon? Because yes, probably. But I think
We've had
probably.
Yeah.
I think by 2025 we'll have a new Animal Crossing.
Yeah, I think we'll get a good like spin-off though at some point.
You think a new Animal Crossing in 3 years?
Yeah, absolutely.
Did I hear that right? Are you, like a real one?
Yeah, I think absolutely. There's going to be a new one by 2025.
Wow. Do you think they'll like speed it up because like that first one sold so amazing?
Oh, you think they're going to speed up the next game because this one sold 40 million
Yeah.
copies? Yes, I do think that.
That makes sense. Yeah.
I mean, it didn't matter to Mario Kart 8.
That's true, but it didn't do as well. I mean, it has on Switch, but I don't know.
It's still, Animal Crossing's never going to catch Mario Kart 8.
No.
Is Animal Crossing still charting?
Though honestly, I don't know. Like Animal Crossing is getting up there.
There's no way it catches
No.
Mario Kart 8. It just doesn't happen.
No. I don't mean Mario Kart 8. I mean like the future. Like do future Animal Crossings start to catch up with the future Mario Kart?
No way. This was a fad. This was a COVID fad. It's going.
so.
Listen, it's going to have a good boost from it. Everything on Switch is going to have a boost, like that continues. But it's not going to reach that height again. Like unless they do something really, really spectacular, which I don't expect from Animal Crossing anytime soon.
But what's like the downside here is like, oh, okay, we fast tracked this to 2025. We released the new Animal Crossing and it only sold 20 million copies.
Yeah, you're right.
Like,
You're right.
you know,
No,
like,
I'm just saying in general, like it's never gonna be Mario Kart tier again.
So do you think
that's fair?
so
That's fair. I think
do you
5
think-
years though they could do one.
So is 2025 like a new console to you?
See, now
yeah.
we're brushing against the elephant
do
in the
it.
room, the real elephant
Let's
in the
do
room,
it.
which is
Let's get to it.
hardware.
Podcast transition.
What
Hardware.
the fuck is happening
That-
with hardware?
I'm glad that you gave me that free transition because I was not gonna let it go. I was like, "There's no." It's 20. They don't put two Animal Crossing games on the same.
Yeah, I
console.
was already thinking about hardware when a new Animal Crossing came up. It's like, okay, Tender, where is it gonna go? You know?
I mean, Switch 2 will be out by 2025. I think.
You think
Oh,
so?
for sure.
You
Yeah,
guys
I
think
believe
so?
it. Yeah, 2025. Yeah.
I'm the only person who I think follows hardware in this room, or sort of the approximation of hardware talk that is sort of.
I have that channel muted.
I have the channel also muted, and I run that server.
Oh my gosh.
I also have that channel muted.
Okay, see. I.
Listen, man, it's really, really annoying to read. It's a bunch of nerds slinging shit at a wall and hoping something will stick.
See, you guys
It's
don't
like they're-
understand hardware talk. Because hardware talk is all these people talking about random bullshit in between the tiny scraps they get. And they're very self-aware. They're very self-aware about how futile their attempts are.
Dude, if I wanted to read fan fiction, I would just go to AO3.
No, but they're
alright?
not even, right? Like, they'll just be talking about, like, okay, what is the future of, you know, solid-state storage one day? And they just talk about all this non-Nintendo shit all day. And I come in, I'm like, oh, you guys think it's going to have this? And they're like, lol, no. We're just talking about it's literally just hardware technology talk.
Oh.
One person I was going to name, but maybe I shouldn't, famously thinks that they're all having no idea what they're talking about whatsoever. But it's very convincing when you go in there, because they're at least well-read, even if they don't have expertise. It reminds me of General. It's bizarro General. The way that General talks about video games, these people are talking about technology.
Maybe I'll check it out someday.
It's, I don't know, it's kind of sad. I would wait. This is like the lowest point for hardware speculation, because what the fuck is happening?
Yeah. So wait. So do you think like Switch is gonna have like a 10-year lifespan?
Yes. I believe in the
Okay.
10-year Switch dynasty, 100%.
So would you still say there's gonna be like a pro type thing, or you think literally no new hardware until Switch 2?
See, it's tough to say, because, you know, my answer now would be so different from in just a couple months, really.
So I'll say what I believe. I think the Bloomberg article with like the DLSS and stuff, I think that was all true. They just had like the dates like completely messed up. But I could see that happening in 23, 24.
Why
not even
23, 24?
What?
Why?
not?
What do you mean, why not? Why do you think it's 2023, 2024?
Well, because it was supposed to be last year, and then we got the OLED instead. So I think 2 years between another hardware.
Okay,
revision
see, that's fair.
Yeah.
The OLED was very, very confounding. And I remember I was so frustrated at the time because people just went to business as usual, because the primary scene leaker, as it were, was saying 2022 for Switch Pro before that. And they were like, you know, at the time, they were like, okay, I guess Bloomberg is probably right. They know better than I do, because I'm just some guy. And then Bloomberg was wrong. He was like, well, I heard 2022 this whole time. A lot of people think that's complete horse shit, and I guess I can understand that. But regardless, because of that, people went back to business as usual. Okay, Switch Pro is coming eventually. But it's really not that simple. Because they launched new fucking hardware last year. And people are buying it. People bought it, and they keep
but
buying
Nintendo
it.
does this.
That's
They
true.
release hardware.
They release
the
hardware,
DSi, they release
yeah.
the micro.
Yeah.
They just
And I mean, isn't there an argument for like the OLED kind of targeting a handheld market versus a
Yeah.
Pro potentially
Like-
targeting more of a home console market.
I think the OLED is what we get instead of a Switch Lite, like Pro. Like you get a nicer Switch Lite that also happens to dock. Because if you're a home console user, and if you're like a docked only user, why would you get an OLED?
Yeah, no, that's fair. I mean, I was talking to Mina about this back when it was more relevant, because at this point people are so fatigued of it that they've just rejected any notion of hardware until further notice. But back when it was a little more relevant, I was talking to Mina about how interesting it would be to hear how this happened. And something that came up that I thought was super interesting is the idea that the OLED was delayed because it was the start of the pandemic, and it was the OLED that got pushed back in a panic, and that the OLED was supposed to be, because if you remember, 2019 refresh was the Lite, which is a fairly different market. You know, it's completely separate because it's the budget model compared to the premium model, and there was some notion that maybe the goal was to have 2019 cheap model, 2020 expensive model, and 2022 a soft reset to their product. And I find that interesting, even if I don't have a strong enough understanding of the production pipeline to make any assessment of how viable that is. And frankly, very few people do. Certainly no one on our Discord has any sensible idea of when or how these things work.
Except
but
my uncle. But
yes, your uncle would know, but you know, non-disclosure agreements.
I think the chip shortage just delays.
That's the
whatever
other thing.
plans they had.
Nobody has any
That's why
idea
it's like 23 or 24.
what the chip shortage is going to do, because that's only going to get worse. You know, 2023. If they had orders that they were working on, you know, supply chain orders set up, they were working towards late 2022. You know, are those orders being pushed back to 2023? It's possible. 2023, 2024.
They're going to stockpile the chips until they can sell enough.
They never do that. They never do that because selling something soft is cheaper, like more viable than storage. Storing product is always super, super expensive. And that's hardware that's sitting that you can't sell and isn't selling software off of it. I mean, we just saw with the new consoles, the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series, what a modern console launch looks like under the conditions that we're in.
You still can't buy them.
You just put it out. You put it out, and the people that are there, you know, it's all the better because you can sell it for whatever price you want. And the people who get it care enough, so they have a higher software attach rate. And it works out fine, especially for a Pro DLSS Switch model. You know, that is such
Where
a
it's the
nerd
same games you're
shit
selling on
thing.
both.
Exactly. If it's a Switch Pro, it doesn't matter how many they make because they can just sell it for more, and people will buy it. You know, you're at a point.
So I think it still exists.
Having demand higher than supply by default for a product like this is very, very interesting because they can do whatever the fuck they want.
Tender, what were you saying?
I was just gonna say, I think a lot of plans probably here could have changed, right? Like going back to the assumption, I think it is interesting. I think maybe like the OLED model was the one that was actually delayed, but if it wasn't, you know, and there was this DLSS model in production, and then a chip shortage happens, and you know, maybe just plans change, and they're just like, all right, well, we'll just push it back a few years longer. We'll extend it with this model, and the Switch 2 will come in 2024. Like, I could definitely see something like that happening, but I could also see something like you know, I think Raccoon, I think you raised a really good point, because the other two Nintendo handhelds that have happened most recently have been like the DS and the 3DS, where you had the DSi and you had the new 3DS, and they were both like 2 years within the system being completely dead. And and maybe that's the plan they were originally working to. 2021 that comes out, 2023 Switch 2 comes out, something like that. But I don't know. I think, but I don't know. I just have obviously, like we said, I don't really follow the hardware channel per se.
That's for the better, probably.
but I think just like my gut feeling when I think about these things, I think about how long the Nintendo life cycle has happened. What's the longest one? Maybe it was like Wii for, was that like 6 years, 7 years? You know, like I feel like 2024, 2025 just feels right to me. And then an Animal Crossing shortly after.
Yeah.
Sounds right to me. Sounds right to me as well.
The problem with a reactive delay is, again, based on rumors that are met with much scrutiny. If dev kits are out and software is in development and third-party software is targeting 2022, 2023, that's bad. It is a bad thing to delay your platform that
Right.
partners have been pouring money into for a year. It is not a good... I mean, they can if they have to, but I think a limited launch is better than... And again, that's predicated on rumors that have sort of been rejected by most people at this point, or most people on the server at least.
No, that's totally a good point.
It's-
I think. Yeah, like if you already have all that software in development, might as well release a unit that you can only release like 1 million of, and have somebody buy it and be able to play the games in those, and they're still backwards compatible with the original units. But yeah, I don't know. I think that's a good point too.
To be clear, I haven't like completely and totally written off every rumor as total bullshit or anything. I just kind of acknowledge the idea that like COVID kind of did screw things up and make things weird.
Yeah.
And sure, their game consoles launched during COVID, and that's fine. But we're also like almost 2 years into those game consoles' life cycles, and they don't have any video games yet.
It's almost all cross-gen, and you can't buy the consoles easily, and that's why.
And I do think that there is a chance that Nintendo looks at that and is just like, is this worth it right now? To even put out this kind of thing and have it a situation like we're not having a situation where these companies are having to target a new console. They in fact they have to target the old one to make sure it still runs fine on the old one, and that's kind of a thing that even Sony and Microsoft are having to deal with. And Microsoft seems like they were kind of already equipped to deal with that in the first place, considering they had the One X and the original Xbone, which there was a bigger gap of power between those two things than the PS4 and the PS4 Pro. Like the Xbox One X, sorry, that's a terrible name. And I don't say it out loud very often, but when I do, it's like, wow, they really did something here. Those practically almost, I mean, it's not a full generation of power between the One and the One X, but the One X was running games at 4K, right?
Yeah.
The PS4 Pro was never running games at like true 4K. It was like whatever that like checkerboarding thing was. Like it was an approximation. And for Sony, it's like Horizon Forbidden West had to target the PS4. Period. It had to run on the PS4 in an acceptable manner, and the PS5 boosted it.
Yeah, and God of War's going to be doing the same, and same with GT7.
God of War's doing the same. GT7 is apparently doing the same. I wouldn't be surprised if we got all the way to Spider-Man 2 next year, and they're still targeting the PS4.
Yeah, Ratchet and Returnal were the biggest that didn't.
And I think that's... And those are games that, like, don't need to sell trillions of copies to, like, make them worth it, Like, games like Forbidden West and God of War are. So it's like, I don't know if Nintendo's looking at things and being like, well, we literally put out Age of Calamity last year, and it's the best-selling Muso of all time, despite the fact it drops to single digits.
I think that's actually really smart. Like, it makes a lot of sense. And to what Raccoon said of, like, the Pro systems that Nintendo has done, the DSi and the new 3DS, like they were saying, they don't last that long. So maybe Nintendo does just skip those this time. And honestly, I would respect that decision because I never like the power difference stuff of like, oh, like this game is really good if you have the Switch Pro, but not if you have the regular Switch.
I think the problem with that is the NVIDIA like hardware isn't there. I don't think we were ever in a situation in which we would have a Pro or like a new 3DS followed shortly after by a successor, just because what's being suggested is so bleeding edge. And if that might make it less likely, I don't really know.
But maybe whatever was supposed to be the Pro just becomes a Switch 2.
See, that's the thing, is that isn't... If we see... I call it the Kano timeline. If we end up with a Switch 2 in 2024, 2025, it will be this. It will be the Switch Pro that's just been pushed back in production. And there's some notion of like the delineation between successor and Pro model not mattering. I'm sure you guys have brushed up against that occasionally. And it's very difficult to follow, but I think it's correct that this is really more like a successor than a Pro model, because the power gap is going to be, again, assuming, NVIDIA leaks are legitimate. I mean, they are legitimate, assuming they come to market as a Switch, product. It's such a huge gap. It's like more than any Nintendo generation has ever been.
So it wouldn't make sense as a Pro.
That's the thing. People are expecting it to be both. And that's sort of tying into what James was saying about the scalability of games being more prominent than ever before. Mm-hmm. The PS5 is a PS4 Pro. It's a PS4 Pro. The power gap is massive.
Maybe they continue to Switch for a long time.
Exactly.
No matter what.
And people have thought that for a long time, because it's mobile hardware, that was the plan all along. To make something that is a massive power jump, but because games are so scalable, especially on mobile, that it's like a Pro, but it's very, very far ahead.
Well, my dream for the Switch ever since literally the first day, like day one, was like, oh man, they could do this like a tablet, right? Like the tablet market refreshes every 2 to 3 years.
Every 1 year.
Well, no, it depends. iPads don't come out every year, do they?
They do, yeah.
What?
Oh, right.
Don't
No,
they?
The A series.
I thought they came out every couple years. Might be.
I think iPad Airs come out every year. Maybe they don't default maybe they don't refresh like the basic one every year.
In any case,
I think they do though. Yeah. Anyways,
the core point is legitimate because phones come out every year. Mobile hardware is fast.
I was hoping that we would see like just iterative, like, and obviously it did not have to be as fast as phones or tablets. But it would make sense for like every 5 years or so for a new Switch to come out that is like, hey, this runs everything that the Switch 1 did. It runs it better, and moving forward, like, we'll still support the games for the Switch 1, but they're going to run better and look better here. You don't need a new dock. You don't need new Joy-Cons. Maybe we make new and better Joy-Cons, but we're going to support the old ones. The old ones will work still. Don't worry. The new ones have better build quality or whatever. Maybe they have better buttons. Maybe they have like a better D-pad or something. But every 5 years you just need a new tablet, and that's it.
It's kind of a depressing thought though, because like Nintendo is like we know them as like, oh, they every new console is so different.
Everything. Yeah, we've been over this before. This is already
is
like the platonic ideal of a Nintendo console though. It has motion control. It has IR motion control, and
they should switch the IR to the
gyro.
top on
Also,
one.
Muffin, we've been away from that for a while.
Yeah.
The Wii and Wii U are practically the same in terms of controller and feel and interface. And the DS and 3DS have a ton in common. So
They're the same, but each
we've
one has
had,
like its own like
that's
innovation
that's
and
true.
gimmicks still.
But we've had
like the
these
gamepad
10
3D.
plus year, hardware dynasties already.
I loved the dual screen. I missed the dual screen format. It was so
The
nice.
Switch, I expect the Switch to be the next dual screen or the next
It'll
Wii
last a
remote.
while, and I love the
It's-
Switch.
We're in another era like those. And it's also
And-
worth
and
noting
it-
with
it
the mobile hardware being so iterative. A lot of people don't realize that the 2019 Redbox model, that's a new chip. It's just underclocked to the same performance for battery life. That could have been the
Right.
Switch Pro. That would have been a damn good Switch Pro too. But they chose battery life, and we don't know why. I think it's because software wasn't ready. Nintendo wasn't at a point where they wanted more power yet. I think now they totally are.
Yeah. And what's funny to me now though is like it's gone the other direction. Like we're done with the era of bespoke console hardware that's like impossible to understand and impossible to port forward.
Exactly.
The new consoles are just PCs. The PS4 and the Xbone were bad PCs, but they were just PCs.
Yeah.
The PS5 and the X and the Series X are pretty good
Yeah.
PCs for the
yeah.
especially for the price.
Yep.
And
And the Switch is an
They're-
ARM64 tablet. It's a
Yeah.
fairly
Yeah,
capable
I-
ARM64 tablet.
This
And-
is random, but like with like the price of like PCs and stuff, like unless you're like really hardcore into the PC market, like
PC's dead. Yeah.
it's hard to recommend that right now.
it's extremely hard. I paid way too much money for this computer.
That's just a,
That
that's
I'm
just a
using
small
right
side
now.
thing.
It is cheaper to buy a couple pre-builts and mix and match parts.
Yeah.
It is so crazy.
I'm gonna set crypto people on fire.
Yeah. Anyway, we should probably start wrapping this to a close. We're Yeah.
One last thought though, and I think it's a really pertinent thought that comes into play when you think about Switch Pro and Switch 2, and it's it's something I only thought about this week, which is once one of those consoles comes out and you could see the increased performance on that, like what is Earthworm Jim 2 really going to look like?
yes. Oh my god, I forgot.
Mappy
Oh my
Land.
god.
Myth
Earthworm
Mappy
Jim 2.
Land.
Why Earthworm Jim 2 and not the first one?
We have to wait for the first one.
I think both Earthworm Gems are terrible. So
They have good visuals.
They have
I
that
think they're
guy,
that
right?
Fun. The first level's good in Earthworm Jim 1. I will say that.
yeah,
It's a
the
good
guy,
first level.
the creator who made Earthworm Jim is a garbage person.
He's a
piece of
shithole.
shit.
Yeah.
But I've always thought those games weren't very good because they have that terrible parallax effect in the background that make it like hard to look at when you're moving around.
Yeah, that can be dizzying.
The momentum on how that man controls that worm.
That Jim
controls-
James. Earthworm
Yeah,
James.
Earthworm
James.
Yeah,
Is that why you don't
Earthworm
like
James.
it?
No, but that's very funny, and I'm gonna change my name right now in the Discord.
To Earthworm James.
But
two, not one. Though.
of the
Earthworm James
NSO,
2.
yeah, that's what it was gonna be. Of the NSO games, the one that I'm most interested in is actually Mappy Land because I've never heard of it.
Yeah, it looks like Mappy, which is not a bad thing. I like Mappy.
What the fuck is Mappy?
Oh my god, youngsters these days
Is it
don't
an
know
arcade
about
game?
Mappy. Yeah, he's a little mouse.
Aw.
He chases something. It's very good.
Yeah, I didn't
thought
know there
mice
was an
were
NES
chased.
Mappy game.
There's cats chasing you, and you're trying to trick them. Something.
Okay.
It's one of those games. It's fantastic.
Yeah,
Uh,
mice
so-
don't chase things.
It is absolute horse shit that Japan got fucking Harvest Moon for
What?
Super
Yes.
Nintendo.
What the
got
fuck?
Earthworm
we
Did
got-
they really?
Wait,
and we
did
we,
they
Yeah,
really?
They
Yeah,
did.
they did.
Oh.
They didn't get Earthworm Jim 2. They got the Super Nintendo Harvest Moon game.
Why couldn't we get like Harvest Moon is not like a Japanese only game. That game was
It
released
got
in America.
localized, yeah.
The
like
the theory seems to be that it has something to do with the current
Oh, of
copyright
course.
issues with the name.
They
Oh,
can't-
Story of Seasons.
Yeah, they can't put out a Harvest Moon in America.
that's so frustrating.
Oh, God, that sucks.
So they were like, what do we get instead? Here's Earthworm Jim 2.
Oh my goodness.
But there's a better sequel in here than Earthworm Jim 2. Dig Dug 2 is a fantastic, underrated classic. I like that game quite a bit.
I just don't like this trend of them releasing sequels to games on NSO
Yeah.
before they release the first ones, because I don't know where the story's going.
Yeah, Dig Dug 2 is weird because you can buy Dig Dug 2, the NES one, as part of one of those Namco archives.
Oh, hey. The last Nintendo Pipeline episode I was on, Mina and I agreed vehemently that NES and SNES were dead, and we were wrong. And I'm back here to be wrong.
Yep.
Well,
That's
you
why
were
we brought you
already
back.
you were already wrong because they released Earthbound and Mother
You're right.
last week.
You're right. Yeah, but I haven't been back since then. I haven't been back since being wrong.
Hey, at least they didn't put out Earthworm Jim 3D on the N64
Oh
one
my
before
God.
Oh my
releasing
god, they
Earthworm
probably
Jim 2.
will. How long before, like... Oh, I wish N64 and, like, Genesis games, like, weren't so slow to release.
It's painful. It is
It
painful.
is painfully slow.
Where is NES Black Box Pinball?
I know, that's
I
what I've been
can't
asking
play
since day one.
all the NES games that I had on Animal Crossing on the GameCube.
Yeah.
Why the fuck
They are
not?
first-party games.
Yeah.
There should be zero reason.
Ridiculous.
Oh,
And we don't have golf either.
Ugh! That hurts.
One thing worth quickly noting, maybe, I don't know how much anyone cares about this, but they also added a couple more like of those like SP versions of games to NSO. Mario World that lets you play through the game as though you've already finished Star Road,
Oh, that's nice.
which is kind of a cool thing for all the people out there who have never, done that. And they released, oh god, it was for Super Punch Out, but I forgot what it was.
Super
It's like
Punch
a
Out
final
was a
boss
weird
one or something
game.
else?
Let me see real quick. In the special version of Super Punch Out, you can take on every circuit and every opponent. On the top of the minor circuit, major circuit, and world circuit options, you can select special circuit, which is normally only available to those who have claimed victory in all other circuits.
Oh,
So it's
that's
basically
cool.
just being able to play through every opponent in the game back to back to back to back. But you used to not be able to do that without clearing the whole game first.
Yeah. Those are cool. Like, 'cause sometimes, like, I don't feel like playing through the whole game, and I just, like, want to see, like the Mario Kart one is super nice. It lets you play all the tracks without unlocking them.
Yeah. They have their place.
Yeah.
I think it's weird that they end up being their own box on the screen or whatever.
Yeah, I wish there was, like, sub-menus or
Yeah.
something.
It's
Yeah,
weird.
Or just like a permanent addition to the save state screen. Like you have your 4 slots, but then like on the you hit like L and then another page opens.
Yeah, or, like, a second page, like, on the main thing. Like, have, like, the regular page and the SP page.
Yeah, that'd be nice. Do you guys put your SPs next to the given game, or do you have them put in the basement somewhere?
I have all the SP games, and the games I don't like are in the bottom.
Isn't it funny that you can sort old games but not new ones?
I love sorting the old games. I almost enjoy it more than, like, playing some of them.
I put all the stupid
of-
third-party trash I don't care about in the bottom, and
Yeah.
the black box goes on top.
All of my NSO games are in the order that they were released in.
Ah,
Oh, wow.
that's a very
I've never
puritanical
organized them.
approach.
I've never organized them and I never will.
Oh, it's freeing.
Oh, you mean the order on NSO they were released? Oh, that's hearsay. No,
So
absolutely
he just
not.
doesn't touch them.
Yeah, I hate that.
You mean it's heresy? Hearsay is something different.
I wasn't going to correct myself because it slows down the podcast, James, but yeah. Damn it.
Here's some more of that fun banter that we talked about
Oh,
at the beginning.
yeah, it's great. I'm saying something. No, I guess not.
Sorry, I busted it.
Were you talking about the Dane?
Yeah, the Drake. It's the Drake now. That's what proves that this is like a simulation, is the fact that the hardware is called Drake now. Like, are you fucking kidding me?
Certified
must-
lover boy, dude. Started from the bottom, now we're here.
The funny thing about hardware talk, and I know we're trying to wrap up, but
Yeah. Sorry, it was my fault.
no, the last funny thing is that, like, in that channel, they don't believe it either anymore, which is awesome. Because you go in there and they're like, these NVIDIA numbers, too good to be true, even though they're true. They're at a loss now, because they've got these insane WUST tier numbers, and they don't know what to make of it, because it's too good to be true.
Is that because of the leak?
The
specifically?
the leaked specs are beyond anyone's expectation. It almost makes me think that that could be from a software side for hardware that doesn't really exist yet, and it's like for an actual Switch 2, but that's just not the case, you know. Arguments like that have been going on since the leak happened, of like, okay, what if it's like this? What if it's like this? Sort of just trying to eliminate as much as we can. I say we, but I only ever pop in and say, what's happening? And everyone says, shut up. And I'm like, oh, okay. But, yeah.
Raccoon walks in there like, what's poppin', losers?
No, I walk in like,
shut up!
what's new? What are you guys talking about? Because I'll come in and they're saying things that sound very foreboding. Like, oh, does it suck now? And they're like, no, we were just talking. It's like, oh, okay.
It's just this cabal of nerds wearing like a black cloak sitting around a fire. And you're just like, oh, what are you guys trying to summon? And they're like, shut up, Drake.
Oh my god.
I love you, hardware channel.
Sounds to me like Switch 3 is coming a little sooner than we thought.
Oh my god.
All right, wait. Oh,
I know.
make it quick.
It is very quick, and it's very related to 2022. I can't believe we didn't talk about it at all. And I don't have much to say about it, because Nintendo doesn't have much to say about it. Splatoon 3. We can't get a successor console because of Splatoon 3. It has to be part of the Switch, or it has to be 3 years out because of Splatoon.
It's weird that
3.
we're getting. It's weird that we're getting a Splatoon on the same.
Exactly. We can't get a successor
anyways.
yet. It's a great note to leave off on, is that nothing adds up.
Yeah, we'll talk about Splatoon 3 more when there's more to talk about with it.
Oh, that's
but
so
on
painful.
that note, I'm wrapping up this podcast. I'm taking the reins, and saying thank you for listening to the Nintendo Pipeline Podcast. I think we can all agree it's a pretty exciting year for Nintendo.
Oh, no doubt.
You can find us, the Nintendo Pipeline Podcast, on YouTube or any podcast platform you can think of. I'm not going to name them here. We have a Discord. The link is nintendopipeline.discord.gg. You can also find the link on our WordPress that has not been updated in maybe a few centuries. It's nintendopipeline.wordpress.com. If anyone wants to share any socials, now is the time to do it.
Socials? Are you guys
Yeah, we
building
love our
brands
socials
here?
Yeah.
Oh,
Tell
I'm
us about your
sorry.
socials.
I don't really
don't.
have anything to plug.
All right.
I stream video games on the James Zone on Twitch.
It's a good channel. I like it.
I
Some
also
stuff in
stream.
sometimes.
I also stream video games on Twitch at Tender Brew, but maybe like once every 6 months. So I have a
Also
pretty
a great
erratic
channel.
schedule.
I watched Tender play Wave Race 64. Wonderful stream.
Thank you.
Anyways, thank you so much. Have a good night. Peace.